I'm built Bronx tough. All right, know what I'm saying? I'm built Bronx tough. We've been through some shit, man. New York kids, shit. Fuck. Samantha Jace, thank you for Lily. I'm loving Lily's look too. Lily's always coming through with the colors. There's the most color I got for you today. A
That
fucking beige.
that's a new fan.
A beige.
She discovered us today. She lives in my neighborhood and she's been going back and watching old episodes today. So welcome, Samantha.
Welcome, Samantha. Hopefully one day we'll get you on the panel to beat up the boys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All
Nice.
right. Yeah.
And
So
she's pretty too.
I
all
know.
right. I
No.
like pretty. I like pretty. Pretty makes me look good. I like
Yes.
pretty. Thank you so much, Jamal, for the super sticker. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get into this. I have a little bit of fluff. It's some sad fluff. Thank you,
Oh.
Samantha. I appreciate it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do beige because I've been tanning. So I was like, the beige would pop off. Now, if I wasn't tan and I had this on, I'd look naked. I'd look like a blank. It's like, where's Jen? I'm over here. So, did you guys know that this gentleman was out of prison? No, Saint, what is it with the mic, darling?
No, I keep cutting it off so you won't hear anything in the background, and then I'm about to say something, and I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were coming to me, but that's fine.
All right, leave it on though. Yeah, leave it on. Because we don't hear any background noise, anything crazy. When you click it on, it's like, yeah, you're coming through a tunnel. We love you, No Saint, with all our little cold hearts, or with our hearts of coal.
I wore a big heart for you, no saying.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
I like it.
For me
Think it-
too, Lily.
Yeah. Well, no, yours is right here, smaller though, because you know.
Hey, is it true? In my
Yeah.
Lily voice. Is it true?
Her rise is the smallest. It's down here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. It's there.
Is it true?
Is it true?
Listen, that's why I don't get insulted anymore, Lily. Because now when people say shit about me, I'm like, is it true, Jen?
I don't either.
I do. I have one small thing that we don't have to dwell on from the desk.
Well, let me throw mine up first because it's super quick.
Okay.
It is super quick. I don't know. Do you guys know that this gentleman is out of prison? I'll play the video for you. You probably didn't know.
I know you're married now to a woman, but do you miss prison?
No, I miss booty. That's what I miss, booty. You know, yeah, I'm married now, out of here. Pussy this, pussy that, all that shit. Nigga, the first piece of sex I had was booty. I went in, don't forget, I went into prison, man. I was in jail at 14, turned 15 in jail, hit prison at 16. I growed up in the penal system. Ain't never had the first American virgin, as you can call me. But when I got introduced to some booty.
That was Felice Johnson. Felice Johnson even made it into cartoons. He was on an episode of the Boondocks, right? Felice Johnson is free after doing 44 years in prison. He is well known for being called the Booty Warrior. And to date, he has 157 booty snatches. He snatched 157 booties in prison. He's married to a woman now, but as you heard, he misses booty.
I would think so. I mean, it's been a large part of his life. So, yeah. Wow.
This news of his arrival, the news of his release, has been making around on Twitter the last 2 weeks. So I've been subjected to a number of fleecings, and ideas about the booty and penile system and so on and so forth. He's a very interesting guy. Lost all his teeth, so I don't know how that happened. But you know what I mean, a very interesting gentleman. It is what it is.
And you know what's crazy? I didn't know exactly what he was in prison for. I said 44 fucking years, man. That's a lifetime. But as you heard, he went in when he was 14, a virgin, and his first piece of sex was booty. But he didn't go in for. I was surprised he didn't go in for a violent crime. It was some sort of robbery or something. He was 14. He was 14 years old. But the reason why he kept getting years tacked on is because he was attacking correction officers, because he was sexually assaulting other men, or he would have been out. But I don't know, some way, somehow, I guess he was enjoying himself in there, or maybe was indoctrinated or conditioned by the system. So now he's out. I'm surprised that he even bothered to marry a woman, but maybe he's trying to catch up to normalcy, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm supposed to be with a woman, but you heard, I mean, he misses booty, so I don't know how long that
It's not gonna last.
I don't know how long that marriage is going to last, because when you're used to a thing, you're used to a thing. And what's interesting, this is going to sound controversial, and I know people are going to be like, I think they should add another letter for him at the the 2S LGBTQIA plus. And here's why. Lily, wait. I know you're tired of the letters. I was tired too, but now I'm amused by them, because if you say it fast, that's a 2S LGBTQIA plus.
Right, they added numbers too.
Right. But I don't think, this is going to sound crazy. Work with me, guys, and then you could tell me I'm crazy after I finish. I don't think he's gay.
No, but you know how I feel about that, though.
There could be something to that.
No,
do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Because
I'm going to give you an example. I'm actually going to give you an example. Okay, so I'm very transparent about my past. I do motivational speaking and stuff like that, and I share my story. So this is no tea, but I did time myself. The guy that I was with in there went in at 14, got out at 24. Same exact thing. Went in as a virgin. The first piece of ass that he got was from a woman, and it was from a correctional officer when he was 14. But that's a whole nother story. And so it took him up until 23 when we met to go the distance with someone. And I would tell him, I believe when you get out, you're not going to want to have anything to do with me or anyone like me. I just felt it. I just felt like he'd been in a long enough time, and that he just needed a piece of, he needed some companionship. He needed some sex. He needed to move his hips a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because just jacking all the time is not going to cut it. So and it was a we wonderful experience between me and that gentleman. But he's married now, living his life, and we talked after 12 years, and he said I was the first and last. So there's some truth to what you're saying.
Okay, good. So I'm not completely nutty, because I mean, some men get touched by another man on the shoulder and he's like, he's gay, right? I don't believe that. I believe when you are gay, you are gay. Okay. Or at the very least bisexual, right? And I'm thinking of myself in that situation. Let's say I had, universe forbid, I had to do years and years in prison, right? I'm far from gay. I ain't eating nobody's fucking pussy, but I'll crack them for a chick, right? I'm just right?
Yeah.
But I'm not attracted to women.
Turn that shit down, period. Let's just call it what it is.
Shut up, Haran.
Right.
Don't be bringing the family business on the block, okay?
But you know what, though, Jen?
I'm not attracted to women. Are beautiful, and I love having beauty around me, because it makes us all look fabulous. But I'm not. I don't look at titties as I look at a man's ass, and I'm like, But I'm not. But I'm like, I can see wanting comfort or something warm or what have you, right? I see that, and I think with Felice Johnson, I think he's just used to 44 years. 44 years, right? And I think that's just what he's used to.
And I'm pretty sure at that age, because I've heard a lot of stories that when they go in that age, there's chances are he was introduced by having his taken. A lot of the younger ones, so it leaves them just kind of like, what do I like? What do I want? And that's it's a real thing. But I always go back to this. At the end of the day, humans are sexual. there's a wide spectrum of sexuality for humans, and all of us fall somewhere on that, right? But try to fit in this like box that they give us, the small
Yeah.
box that very, very few people actually fit in,
It's
is
a
really,
tiny box.
it's a very tiny box, because there's a
I'm,
large spectrum of sexuality.
I'm just thinking about Felice, like living his life now. He's in Target walking around, and then one day it's like he runs up on somebody and says, "Look at here,
We could
I
do
like
this.
you, and I want you. We can do this the easy way. We can do this the hard way." The choice is
Now,
yours.
listen, now when you think of sexual assault, let's just say that for now so we don't get,
Mhm.
sexual assault, and he has 157 under his belt, right? Doesn't say 157 relationships. It says sexually assaulting over 157 people while in prison. So these weren't relationships. That's 157 men that are probably mum's the word when they get out.
Mhm.
Right. And it happens more often than not, but a lot of people don't address that. But a lot of guys that go upset, okay, shit happens, but they're not going to tell you about that. And, I kind of relate that to when men are asking why women, why didn't you say anything? Well, sir, your brother probably was a victim of sexual assault. He's not going to say anything, right? A lot of people don't say anything. It's not gender specific. But with that said, I guess welcome home, Fleece. I don't know what to say.
He said one of the things that he said that he was very proud of. He said he was able to force at least 40 correction officers into handing in their resignation, because he had this little thing that he used to love to do that involved fecal matter being thrown on
Yeah, they do
them.
that a lot.
And yeah, well, it's funny you should say that too, Jen, your comment earlier, because he was explaining, I guess he was 14, very transitional period for a young man. You got hormones flying all over the place. And he said he was in the shower one day and he caught eye of another male at the time. And
Mhm.
the male was, he said the male had a unbelievably fat and round behind. And I'm thinking he may have associated something, maybe some wires got crossed and
Mhm.
natural need kicked in, and then it was like, fuck it, that's not here. Let's go take that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Instead, I have no clue. But he said that during that transitional period, that's what happened. And I guess that was the beginning of his love affair with the booty.
So it
Well,
says
and
here
there
he
is,
got 20 years. He got 20 years tacked on for assault on correction officers 4 times.
Not, you know how
yes,
you have to be attacking motherfuckers to get 20 years back on your shit.
right. And I've heard stories like that. Actually, no, I know quite a few stories like that, where people went in, especially the young ones, and they end up with way more time than they got originally because of a lot of things. So yeah, that's a real thing. But what I will say in there, a couple of things. It's a whole nother world. It's a microcosm of another society. And when you go in, it's hard for me to explain. You know how like you always say YouTube world? Okay, so prison world is literally once you go in, you kind of, I wouldn't say forget, but you're not in touch with this world out here. That becomes your world, and things are just different in there, and you develop a new normal, and so
Yeah, I
when you
mean
come,
that's easy to understand completely.
yeah,
It's a whole different world.
it's a whole different world. So like even with the SA, for instance,
Hmm.
it's a little bit different in there in the sense that like people was always with me like, oh my God, did anyone? And I'm like, that was the first thing I was worried about. But that's actually, it was the complete opposite in there, because with the girls,
Hmm.
we were kind of like revered and protected, but when they come out here they'll tell you something different unless they're honest.
Hmm.
But in there we were revered and protected, so nobody was going to SA us, because it was kind of like we were the ones that people wanted. So it's like, don't defile her because that's possibly my next wife or something like that. So like you'll get
Interesting.
fucked up messing with a girl like me in there. Like it's not happening. Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
They take each other.
I'm glad you were protected by any means, whatever the politics were. He said that the men that he preferred were the guys that would walk in and sag their pants, the cool guys. And
Yeah, that's what they take.
and if you coughed and covered your mouth when you coughed, he saw that as an invitation to sexual assault. He felt that was a sign that you wanted to be sexually assaulted. If you coughed and covered your mouth. So I guess when you walk around, if you're a man, you got to be like,
With your pants up. You got to be
With your
like that
pants
with
up.
your pants up. That's
Put your
man.
pants up.
I mean, I get the pants up thing.
I don't get the
Amy?
coughing thing, but
Yeah,
that's,
because does he know about COVID? Did they tell him about that in there?
I don't
Look,
know.
listen, as an avid rule, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, as an avid rule, well, this is for all my boys and the people that I've met and known. If you do at least 20 years and better, when you get out, I don't ask you nothing.
Oh, you giving him 20? You are so nice. You's a kind man. You's a lenient man, baby.
I've heard the stories that it happens far earlier than that, and I don't want to get into that.
They're like, don't ask no questions. Don't tell no lies. Okay, so
it's like, nah,
yeah, according to Fleece Johnson, he said booty is more important than water in prison. So I'm gonna take his word for it. I'm not even gonna question it. I'm not gonna rebut. I believe that booty was more important to him than water.
Definitely didn't know that character was based off a real guy, so that's news to me.
It was based on a real dude.
And now I get to meet the real guy in action. Did not know. I didn't really watch the thing, but I saw everybody circulating the cartoon, and I know Tristan puts it up here sometimes, and
he does.
And so I watched the cartoon, and I just thought it was a character.
Well, he's a character, all right. He's a character, all right. But I didn't mean for that story to go this long. No, Saint, you had something from your desk.
Everybody can take you a long way.
Yeah, everybody unclench your booties. We're safe. Everything is good. Everybody relax the butt cheeks. There you go.
Right.
No Saint.
Relax your BBL.
Okay. This comes from the world of sports in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Heather Anderson, she was a professional rugby and Australian football player, is diagnosed, the first woman diagnosed with CTE. She played since the age of 5. She played 18 years. She deleted herself at the age of 28. Jesus. They're saying now that with the increase of women playing contact sports, that they expect to see a lot more of this. But this is the first case of a woman ever having CTE, diagnosed with CTE. And I just thought that was interesting. I don't think anything's going to change. I think that sports, it's going to be like coal miners knowing that you have a chance of getting black lung and dying early. I think people are just going to think that might not happen to me. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So yeah, with the MMA and soccer, even with soccer, they're finding athletes with CTE. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That another first. Do you like the ambiance?
The ambiance?
Do you hear it?
No.
I don't hear it, but I'm wondering if you all are hearing mine because it sounds like Baghdad. But you don't hear it. That's cool. Good.
Don't hear it.
It's out the other window.
You are you hearing like bombs go off and shit like that?
No. That's not what I was thinking. Hold on.
Oh.
It's off now. No, I had my little newsroom going with the typewriter in the background.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
So
I didn't hear it.
I'm gonna do it. I'll have it a little louder next time. I didn't want it to be overwhelming.
That's funny. I did not hear it. Speaking of, go ahead, Haram.
Well, no, saying personally, I'm not a big fan of women getting involved in contact sports. Women have weaker bones. This is scientifically proven before anybody jumps down my throat and be like, it's a very patriarchal thing to say. No, this is scientifically proven. Women have weaker bones. So, you guys take a lot of damage. I mean, if the slightest thing damn near happens. And yeah, when I see women, in these kinds of sports, it's kind of like a thing where it's like, ugh. It's a brutal contact sports is a very brutal situation, period. Even
Mm.
for men. If you're not built for that, that has to be even more damaging. But I pass the mic on that.
Mm. I'm just thinking about the number of years that this young lady was playing. This is the first that was diagnosed. So at least this is going to it's going to bring attention. But yeah, I agree with you, no saying between the money and the attention and just the love for the sport, those three things put together, I don't see people saying, "Oh, I'm not going to play rugby anymore. Or I'm not going to play." So it is what it is. We're being educated, I guess, as a society to know that okay, it's possible that if I want to date this rugby player, that she may have CTE. It's not just a male thing. So we can be, I guess, it'd be more for us than them if we want to get involved with them and get involved with someone with CTE because a lot of times they're violent and they have a lot of different things going on. And if you don't want to be involved with that, then that's something that you might want to know that like, hey, if I want to date this rugby player, there's a chance. So I think that's
This,
the only thing that really can come from it.
this
Yeah.
might sound sexist, but I'm just imagining a relationship and a woman with a woman with CTE, with a woman
Right.
with
Yeah.
brain damage. It's like I'm good.
That's dangerous. That's very
Yeah.
dangerous. That's why that's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, that's dangerous.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize like that's the thing with football players. Like they that's another thing I didn't really like their temperament is snappy, right? From one moment to another and I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 no."
You got a
Like
headache
you're
every time.
snappy. Like you're snappy, I'm Puerto Rican. That's like I mean, that's a murder suicide waiting to happen, buddy. Let's keep it on though. Okay? Um great stroke, nice ass, great abs, but
You gonna catch you on that wrong day, on that wrong
right.
Right.
Friday.
Right.
And then Jen's gonna be getting her cooch ate in 5 years from now down to the prison.
Yes. I will be the ET, not the eater. Okay,
Don't worry,
for the
man.
record,
We'll
I
keep
will
that
not
conversation
open.
looking great. That
I will
conversation
not
looking great.
open. I will not open any flaps of any sort. I will not indulge. However,
You won't just comb through the surfaces, just
no, thank you.
the areas.
Hey, I'm a great Edie though. She'll enjoy herself. I don't have to be an
Right.
eater. Yeah,
Exactly.
come
Oh,
on.
and I have something from my desk too if we have time.
We do. Actually, I just wanted to say really quickly, speaking of deaf, since we're talking about deaf, and then Lily, throw your thing in there so we can get to our thing. Robert De Niro's grandson, Leandro De Niro Rodriguez, passed away at age
Oh.
19. Age
Oh,
19. They did a wellness check on him, and his friend found him sitting in a chair, deceased.
Mm.
They don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure the coroner will have that news in a couple days. Rest in peace to the boy. Very, very young, very, very cute. 19 years old. So his grandbaby is gone at 19. Don't know what it is. I don't even want to speculate if it's drugs or whatever, because we don't know if he had an illness or what. So I don't know. I don't know.
Wow. All right. Well, in other news and crazy news, and what's crazy, this story takes place where I just flew in from down the street from my mama house, um, in Maryland, down in Waldorf, Maryland. So there was a gentleman, and I'm using that word very lightly, okay, loosely, I mean. What he did was he stole a forklift from Lowe's, okay? So he got the forklift from Lowe's, drove the forklift down to the competitor, which is Home Depot, and he ran over an elderly woman in the parking lot, a lady who was sitting in the car minding her business, right? And it's just like, what is really, really going on? What's the tea? Now, what made him go from the now? What I wasn't clear about with this story, Jen, do you know if this man did he have any mental illness? Was he was there any? Because I'm not seeing any type of motive for this situation.
I'm
I
thinking even without that report coming out, obviously he wasn't well.
Yeah,
Sounds like a maniac, sounds random as fuck.
he looks like the rapper, the former rapper,
Mm.
designer. Who else? Speaking of mental illness, hopefully he's
Mm.
getting better. He said he was going to go get better. So,
Is that my
but
headphones? Is that me?
I
The
don't.
robot sounding. Does anyone else hear Lily like a robot? Okay, let me unplug. Go ahead.
Okay, so it says according to CBS Baltimore, around 12:40 a.m. Bryce Caleb Anthony, who was 20, reportedly broke into a local Lowe's to steal a forklift. He then rammed it into the rear gates before driving it about a half a mile north to the Home Depot. Um, the lady is named Glorstein Pickney. She was 73. She was sleeping in her car. Let's see, she was sleeping in her car in the parking lot when Brown rammed into the forklift into her car. When she got out of the car and began running away, Brown allegedly followed her. So it was not enough that he runs into the lady's car, but he actually followed her. Brown is charged with first degree murder and second degree, that too, assault, theft, and other related charges. He is currently held without bail.
What's so sad about those stories is I hate hearing like somebody that age, you know what I mean, passed away that violently. Cause I'm like, you get to that age and then that happens to you, you know what I mean? And it's like, I was saying timing is a motherfucker because she happened to be in that car asleep when this maniac decided to go steal that forklift and she happened to be parked on that block that he went. It's crazy, but timing is that
Yeah.
way. Wesley Curry, I have zero idea what you're talking about, sir. Like completely and utterly, I don't know what you're talking about. But okay. Um, did you guys hear about the man that was shot 6 times stopping a customer from groping a woman?
I did.
Okay, so he survived. That's good news. I don't know how. Okay, he got shot more times than 50. I know everybody thinks 50 got shot 9 times. It was not 9. That is what he said. That's not what happened. But this guy got shot 6 times. He was a security guard at a restaurant. He was trying to, get the guy away from the woman. He immediately turns around, pulls a gun out, and shoots him 6 times. Immediately. Like there was not even any talking back and forth. There wasn't an argument. There wasn't like a shoving. He just told the guy he had to leave. Guy immediately turns around and shoots him 6 times, but he did survive. He's already recovering at home. So that story is a little crazy, and it goes back to, you know what I mean? Like he was protecting a woman, or was he doing his job?
Mm,
He was security.
he was security, right?
He
But
was security.
look right,
Mm-hmm.
dead ass. Whenever
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the store and I see security, and I
Mm-hmm.
be looking at them like, you better not go running after nobody. This ain't your money. They will replace. They will have a help wanted sign in the morning before you are buried. Like you better just sit here and look cute. And I've seen security guards like that. I've seen people just walking past and they just walking out of security just like, and I'm like, that's how you do it. Because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. You're getting paid either minimum wage or maybe slightly above minimum wage. You're just
Yep.
trying to pay your bills. You're trying to probably support your family. It's just not worth it. The goal is to make it home. And the way that people are set up these days, they're not screwed too tight. Clearly, there's just a lot more senseless crimes going on. So, baby, listen, let them walk out of Walmart with that TV. just, but then we're going back into the protecting women thing, and that's been
Mm-hmm.
a topic a lot on the internet street. So, woo, we have to ask:
Mm-hmm.
is
Ask a question.
it?
I'm wondering, if people, for women particularly, who believe that men should physically protect women in these particular situations, do you feel the same way if that said person is your husband or son or your brother? Because
I mean,
obviously,
that's a great question.
obviously that man is somebody's son, maybe somebody's dad. You know, do you believe in protecting black women even at the risk of losing the man in your home.
Oh, wait a minute. You said black woman. Ain't nobody said nothing about her being black.
Not this time. Not
I
this
know,
time.
but
Continue.
I had to like throw that in there.
Yeah, because you know it was coming.
Did you see that? Haran like skipped rocks. He just threw that shit.
I knew it was coming.
That rock came all the way to the other side. He said,
It's like, hold on, we
"Here it
had nothing to do
comes."
with this. Not this time.
Right. I'm
We didn't
like,
get that man shot up.
that was James Oko's mating call. He's gonna pop up any minute now. I mean, shit, Ron. Warn us next time. Okay?
Oh my goodness.
His butt just tickled. He was like, "Oh, somebody's there." On the block, and Jenny must be on.
I mean, black women, Jen.
Yes, James.
You said the N word, Jen. I'm not mad at you. I don't judge you, Jen. I'm just, it's just for black men. We have it hard, Jen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Holy Lord.
You know, young man alone.
We love James here.
You know what I wanted to do? I want to do something real fun, real quick before we get into the. Wait, does anybody else have anything from their desk? No. What's up, Lorraine? Okay, I want to do something real fun. Pick somebody on the panel. I already feel somebody's gonna get cut. Pick somebody on the panel. No saying. You know what I'm about to say? Pick somebody on the panel and imitate them. Lily, come back. Somebody's gonna get cut. I can feel it. I'm gonna pick one already. I'm gonna try Haran. So Haran's off the table. Everybody else, you gotta pick. You gotta pick.
Haran's the easiest. Okay. I'm doing.
You talking about they got to be in these 4 squares?
That's it. We all got to pick one, like those little Christmas things.
That's hard.
That's
You can still try. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right. I like doing impressions, so
I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to get her on.
Okay.
I'll go first then. Okay, let me see if I can get this. Well, what I was thinking was, no. Let me finish. So basically, what you're saying is, I said, let me finish. But you weren't talking, Haran. It doesn't matter. I want to finish. All right, that was it. That was my attempt.
I'll try Jen.
I was going to do Jen. Fuck.
I'll try. I'm not going to be good at it, but I'll try.
No Saint called it.
All right, let me think about this for a second. Okay, are you done? Okay, sir. Let me tell you something. What you're not going to tell me what to do on this on my channel is you're not going to tell me how to run the show. So you can just go fuck off, okay?
Not bad.
Okay, I gotta do no saint.
I gotta do Lily. Okay.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you have to call them fast. Right.
Okay, let me do no saint. I gotta come off my mute. I don't know about that. I mean, I know he killed 23 people, but I just still think 5 years is a little too much. I mean, he is a black man.
I'm dead. Oh my God.
All right, so Lily.
Woo, that was a good one.
Okay, Lily.
Oh God. That's the ball head.
Yes, my name is Lily from YB Limited. That's the first letter Y. The next letter B. YB Limited, and got to be more careful. No, girl, let her finish. Let her finish. The old dude on the other end. No, girl, let her finish. Let her finish, girl. Mhm. Is it
I
true
will
though?
call them shit.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I promise you I am clipping that.
Yes. Oh God.
I am so clipping that. I think we
We
nailed them
did.
all.
We did. Oh my God. I wish David was here. That would have been good.
I know, right? David would be like,
Right.
oh, not to let her finish. Really do be nice though before
Orlando
she
is
starts.
hilarious. Oh yeah, because I will call them she. When they start acting like a she, I'm like, no, let her finish.
You
She's
do.
got something to get off her chest. Just let her go.
I'm like, here we go. Oh yeah.
Yes, Orlando, the shade.
Oh my God. Okay. I literally had tears in my eyes. All
That was
right.
funny.
That was.
That was hilarious.
Okay. He was like, I know he killed 23 people.
I was saying do be like that, man. That white guilt,
He is
man.
insane.
That white guilt be
Listen, no,
motherfucking
listen,
chokehold.
no say who is who you want on the jury.
Yes,
Okay, you be
Right.
quiet. You shh. Shh. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. So tonight's topic has grown some very hairy legs. And when both these stories first hit, I was like, okay, whatever, another Hollywood person being accused, and we're all going to go on with our lives, right? As we normally do. But these stories are taking some really interesting twists and turns, right? So I'm talking about specifically Jonathan Majors, Tenoch Huerta villains, or victims. As you guys know, Tenoch Huerta plays Namor in the Black Panther, which was an excellent depiction, I thought. And Jonathan Majors, who played Kang the Conqueror, right? Haran? Now, I haven't seen his performance. Was it good?
It was amazing.
Okay, so excellent. I still have to catch that. I haven't seen it. So
Ant-Man.
these are two. Okay, so these are two Marvel characters. As you know, Jonathan Majors was accused of domestic violence. Tenoch Huerta was much worse. He's being accused of sexual assault and abuse and all kinds of things. So, the developments in the Jonathan Majors case was, as you know, he was arrested. He was indicted, right? I believe he was indicted. He's going back and forth to court with his new girlfriend Megan Good, and there also is some race related issues in that, because the girlfriend who accused him of domestic violence is a white woman, and he's been critiqued in the past for dating white. So now he's with Megan Good, and Megan Good is Black. Now I don't know if he's in love with Megan Good. There's also speculation that the night him and his white girlfriend were fighting for the phone, he may have been texting Megan Good, because the white girlfriend was mad about a text she saw on his phone. And now he pops up with Megan Good, which I think is kind of convenient. So the plot thickened. Jonathan Majors now wants to charge his girlfriend with attacking him, scratching him, injuring him. And according to the police department, there is enough to arrest her, but they are still investigating. But according to the police department, there's enough. So he did have scratches on him, right? It was obviously a big, good, hefty fight for that phone. And I'm sure some of us can relate. Well, maybe just me. it was a good fight for that phone, apparently, where they both ended up with injuries. Now, of course, there's lots of surveillance video with her at the bar after the quote unquote incident where she claims she was very hurt, right? So Jonathan Majors first released his side of the story. She was having a manic episode. I was trying to control her from the manic episode. And then more bullshit came out. No, we were fighting over the phone. I was texting somebody. And his attorney, I think I've always thought from the beginning his attorney sucked. Because she let it go so long without an explanation. And he was just getting torn from everything. Army commercials, Marvel is at stake, and time was passing by. And me as a commoner, not even with a dog in the fight, I was like, where the fuck is his attorney? Why don't they release a statement? Where's his PR team? What is going on? They let that fly, and then Twitter happened. And all of a sudden, other Jonathan Majors victims, not of domestic violence, but at the very least of abuse. People are claiming that he was abusive on set, and a lot of people were co-signing on Twitter, right? And then most recently, his attorney released a statement and said, hey, yes, he may have been abusive on set, but it was method acting. So she said if he was abusive on set, he was acting a certain kind of way, it was just his method acting. Now, I am an actress, and method acting, for those that don't know, is people who stay in the character the whole fucking time, and they want you to call them by that character. They're usually brooding somewhere off to the side. They don't really want to hang out with the cast. They're over there, and you go get them out the trailer when they're ready for them. But they will stay in character the whole time. They do absurd things like James Gandolfini, who played Tony Soprano, put rocks in his shoes, would walk around with rocks in his shoes to keep a scowl and painful look on his face. So some actors do some really wild shit. If they have to play a homeless person, they'll go and be homeless for weeks to get that feeling. If they're doing drugs, they hang around, drug addicts and go through the motions. Method acting gets really, really deep. So according to his attorney, if he abused anybody on set, he was just in character, right? And I'm like, well, at least she's responding to something. Okay.
Right.
So on the other side, with Tenoch Huerta, he jumped on it a lot quicker. It turns out he's been working on this because he knew what was coming, and he's been working behind the scenes with attorneys, and he said he's not going to stay quiet, and he's fighting back. So in the Tenoch Huerta case, a woman is accusing him of some very ugly things, including sexual assault. So come to find out, I do have the article here of his response. And Tenoch is like, I'm not waiting for a motherfucker. I'm not waiting for an attorney. I'm not waiting for anything. Now, the interesting thing, both of these guys haven't officially been cut from Marvel. Did you know that? They haven't officially, like Marvel. Yeah, Marvel has not announced we're not working with him and we're not working with him. But they did say the person, they did say that the person who has the biggest threat, believe it or not, is Jonathan Majors, not Tenoch Huerta, although Tenoch Huerta has been accused of something worse, in my opinion, than domestic violence, sexual assault, domestic violence, fighting for a phone, is a little different, right? That I think we can all agree those are two different crimes, right? So, but oddly enough, Jonathan Majors is at risk, they say, of losing his role with Marvel, but Tenoch Huerta not so much. So Tenoch Huerta says here, this is his statement. He's firing back against a sexual assault allegation made against him by musician Maria Elena Rios. In a statement sent to Variety and published on his own Instagram, Huerta called Rios' claims false and completely unsubstantiated, adding, "I cannot let it go unchallenged any longer. I will not stay quiet. About a year ago, I dated Elena for several months," Huerta wrote. "It was entirely consensual at all times, as countless others can attest to. And throughout, it was loving, warm, and mutually supportive relationship. After it ended, however, Elena began to misrepresent our interactions both privately and in front of groups of mutual friends. As a result, a few months ago, I engaged in a legal team to commence the appropriate actions to protect my reputation and refute these irresponsible and false accusations that can cause great prejudice and damage. He continues, although I am by no means a perfect man, I know that these allegations are simply untrue. And while I will always work to improve myself, I need to contest claims that are both false and offensive. Elena Rios is a saxophonist and activist, publicly accused Huerta of sexual assault in a Twitter thread in which she called the Marvel actor a sexual predator. Huerta added in his statement, I am deeply grateful to my family and the people who have supported me and greatly appreciate everyone who is willing to look at the facts and reflect before rushing to an untrue, unjust conclusion. Again, Marvel has not officially said we are getting rid of these guys completely. All right. Before I pass the mic, I want to ask something really crazy. Who do you think would be a bigger loss to either characters? Jonathan Majors or Tenoch? Or do you think it's even? Like, who do you think would have more of an impact of losing in that character, in that role?
Jonathan Majors.
And chat, can you answer this as well?
Yeah,
I'd like
chat,
to
you
hear
can
from them
answer
too.
as well. Chat, you can answer as well.
Jonathan Majors.
Why so?
Well, Jen, I forgot to tell you. Kang was supposed to be the new Thanos. So that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the number of phases were supposed to lead up to Avengers 5 and him being the big bad, because the idea was that there are these just multiple versions of Kang, and it'll be the Avengers against like millions of versions of Kang. You know what I mean? So there was already a lot invested in Jonathan Majors. Like, he was supposed to be huge. You know, he was supposed to be that guy in Marvel. They were kind of just testing the other dude out, and it just so happens that he nailed it and then blew it out the water. So it was like, okay, let's look into giving him some more shit, and let's look into giving him a franchise. So a lot of work hasn't been invested in him in just as yet. If he were to disappear now, he would have just been a villain in Black Panther. You know what I mean? Jonathan Majors has already been in Loki verse season 1. He's in season 2. He's in Ant-Man. You know what I mean? He's in an Ant-Man sequel. They got so many plans for him. So he would be the bigger loss. So that's probably why Marvel hasn't really said anything, because it's just like so much shit they got to fucking scrap and rewrite and redo or reshoot in order to probably get this guy up out of here. Like, it would cost money. This is one of the reasons why, if you notice, Ezra Miller, that motherfucker got caught in a whole bunch of shit. You know what I mean? DC didn't do anything. This motherfucker was kidnapping people. He was jumping through windows and shit like that. You know what I mean? All kinds of shit. But they went forward with him because it was just like, they spent so much money. Ironically, they lost so much money because the Flash bombed. But it was like they're already.
Yeah, and I did hear a lot of buzz about why they letting Ezra Miller basically live on. And what was his crimes again? I forgot.
I think it was sexual assault, right, aggravated assault, and also I think kidnapping on something. And I'm like,
interesting.
He had a quite interesting sheet. Like, everybody after a while was like, y'all not gonna do nothing, and he was doing shit.
Right. Mr. Justin says Marvel was his first massive contract, so he goes with Majors. Lily, No Saint, what do you think? Who would be the bigger loss to the Marvel universe? And, you know what I mean, who would be the bigger loss, you think, to those characters?
I'm not the best person to ask because I'm not like a big movie buff unless I'm in a relationship, and so ask me about something from 1993 and I can tell you all about it. It's like, no. But just from buzz, because I'm not a movie buff, I would say Majors, because I just know his name made it to my ears more than the other guy. So that's why I would go with him, just because of that. Like, I'm like, oh, if I know about it, then you doing something, in a certain arena. So yeah.
No Saint?
Yeah, I looked into both these guys. I saw the original Black Panther. I didn't see the Wakanda Forever. So, yeah, so I'm not really good on that part of the, on which would be a bigger loss on these, because it's very few. I follow the Marvel and DC lightly. I like the movies, but I'm not the comic book person that knows all the background and everything. That would be Erica. She's all into that kind of stuff. But I do think it's interesting, and I think that it looks like we're going to see more of this not sitting down and start being offensive when you get charged with this, whether he's innocent or not. I almost think that's the way they're going to start going, because there have been quite a few that ends up being false accusations, or so. I find it interesting that he's taken the offensive.
You know what I think really changed things for a lot of people? I think it was Johnny Depp.
Yes.
I think Johnny Depp.
Exactly what I was thinking.
A lot of things where it was just like, regardless of not where it was like whether you believe him or not, the fact that he won, I was shocked. I was fucking shocked, because in situations like this, I immediately think, I'm not gonna lie,
Now I can hear the fireworks. I don't know if that's Lily and No Saint.
That's me. That's me. These morons.
That's
yeah.
you.
My mic's muted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these guys out here are freaking idiots. Anyway,
sound like you're in Brooklyn.
I immediately think that the woman is going to win. Because usually in these cases that's what happens. But Johnny beat it, so it's kind of like, I guess people are kind of like, wait, let's just see what happens. And if it's at least 98% certain, like okay. But I think Marvel is setting themselves up to where it's like the transition will be as less messy as possible, because he's not in. I read the synopsis for Loki season 2, and it wasn't very Kang heavy, and it went on a Kang cliffhanger. So it wasn't very Kang focused. So I think that they're trying to set it up where it's like, if they gotta get rid of him, it won't be too messy.
So I vote Tenoch Huerta from a fan perspective, right? I think Tenoch had a bigger impact for fans, in my opinion, than Majors. The reason why I say that is because Majors, let me tell you something. Majors has a lot of competition. These new young bucks, the ones coming from England, the ones that are the new actors here, they are no fucking joke. So I can see them switching out Jonathan Majors and nobody like, no, like when they switched out Henry Cavill, I was like, fuck, he's the perfect Superman. But I don't look at Kang, like I looked at the trailer, I don't look at Kang and associate him already with Majors, right? Say like we do with the Batman characters. That is like when they switch him out, we get mad because it's like, no, I want so-and-so to play. Don't switch out the Joker. Like Joaquin is perfect, right?
Right.
I don't see Majors like that. I don't think he established himself. He was just about to. Like he was out. He was like the gate was about to open and he was about to explode. That didn't happen. Now when Tenoch hit the scene, this is the first time we've seen a Latin villain or superhero. It was very, very impactful. And the way he played the role was so impactful. So I can't see them switching him out this soon and someone else coming in and having that grit and that impact and that pain that he portrayed as Namor. So that's the only reason I say Tenoch. Now, of course, maybe Majors, it's going to be a way bigger financial loss because Marvel they had stacks and stacks of money, you know what I mean, on this kid. So I think financially, a bigger loss with Majors. Fan-wise, I think a bigger loss with Tenoch. That's how I see it.
They're not going to switch out Tenoch. They're just going to.
You don't think?
If anything, they're just going to get rid of the character because he did do a hell of a job. You know, as a comic book fan, when he portrayed Namor, I was like, okay, as a comic book fan, this dude.
Yeah, that was.
So I can't necessarily see someone else just come in there and do that, especially the route that they were going to, that Aztec route
Right.
we're going into, everything just fit. So I can just it just doesn't make sense to switch them out.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I'm thinking about young black brooding actors, I could write you a list right now of 10.
Right.
Easy,
Right.
right? But when I'm thinking about a strong, deep, brooding, you know what I mean? I can't give you 10 Latinos. I can't. I can give you them, but they're old, like Isai Morales.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're from back in the day, but ain't no young that guy that's playing. He was in The Heights, and now he's in the next Transformers. He can't play Namor. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't give you 10 Latins, and it's not because they don't exist. It's because they don't let us in.
Right.
Because
So
I'm sure they're out there.
I have a question for you all then. What do you all feel about the studios are now being less hesitant to drop them right away, and letting more information come out, as opposed to back in the day, if you was accused of anything, you were being dropped immediately. It was guilty until proven innocent, and then when you were proven innocent, they come back like, oh, everything's great, come on back on home. And it's like, what the hell? So how do y'all feel about the new way they're starting to do things?
I think that's an excellent. I'm sorry, go ahead, Haran.
I think the Me Too movement fucked up a lot of things, and a lot of people got soured on a lot. It's the same thing where you guys made that very solid observation in regards to the LGBT community, where people, it's just too much. Motherfuckers are pushing back. And with the Me Too movement, after a while, it just got too much. He's like, he looked at my ankle, and it was like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, what are you talking about? He's looking at me in the gym, and like, no, you're in the way. I'm trying to get to the water fountain. You're in the fucking way. You know what I mean? To where and this is the problem with these movements. And I've seen black people do it too. This is the problem with these movements. When they become so extreme, you know what I mean? The person who you're putting this on, who might have more power and influence on you, is like, after a while, is like, look, I'm trying to be nice here. I'm trying to be motherfucking fair. You know what? Now you don't get anything. Sit down. Now you don't get shit.
Right. The reason why I say it's an excellent question, because it's something that I predicted, right? Cancel culture is not sustainable.
It's
just not. It's not sustainable. If you want superstars, if you want blockbuster movies, it is not sustainable. Superstardom also comes with an ego. Okay? It comes with throwing your weight around. And you're right, Haran. It has gotten as ridiculous. You was looking at my ankle. We saw it with Malika Andrews and Jalen Rose. They were on fucking TV. He just grabbed her, and she was like, hey, you're trying to touch my titty. Right? And she got dragged because we were all looking at the video. Right? And I definitely don't want to bash Malika Andrews as far as her politics, because men talk the same way. So I don't want to get into she bashes black men. It's just she has a vagina. So people take issue with what she got to say. Men talk worse. Stephen A. Smith is fucking worse. Right? But that particular incident, I was like, we're looking at you. He was not trying to grab your titty with 10 cameras on him, lady. So it's getting that bad now, but it seems like we're morphing into cancel culture getting canceled, because one thing Hollywood don't want to lose is their money.
And that's it. To your point, Jen, to your absolute point, that if they start going down that route, they're gonna set a dangerous precedent, and everybody gonna be out of a job. Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, show business, everybody done touched the dick. Everybody done touched a titty that they shouldn't have touched. Everybody done caught with a motherfucker they should have got caught with. So if you really want to start erasing and canceling people, ain't gonna be nobody left but the boom mic holder, the goddamn cameraman, and maybe an actor or two, and maybe a producer. That's gonna be Hollywood.
Reality show folks. That's it.
Yeah, you're gonna be
because you notice they can do anything. Reality show folks can bash the LGBTQ. They can beat on people. They can attack their wives. They can and they don't get can. They say some of the most heinous things online. And these people have huge followings. They don't get canceled. People laugh. They throw comments in the comment section. They go on about their business. However, if a Jonathan Majors, for instance, said half the things that these reality show stars say with millions of followers, he'd be canceled immediately, right?
Jonathan is actually talented. People who are actually actors, people who are actually musicians, these people are talented. Reality show, people can relate to that person. They're the guy next door. They're the person they know that, oh, I can be this person. So yeah, oh yeah, that was real funny. Yeah, that's real funny what he said about kids with disabilities. Yeah, I feel the same way too. You know what I mean? So they can get away with shit. I pass on that.
Okay, and you're right. That is their talent. It's being vulgar and pushing the envelope and things like that. So you do have a point there, because I didn't think about that. I never thought about it until you just said it, Jen. But then it's very true. But I'm thinking that's why, because that's their shtick. And if they get rid of that, then they wouldn't have a career. I mean, I look at Omarosa, who's been playing a villain for 20 years. She even played the villain in the White House. I mean, she made it all the way to the White House playing the villain. I mean, so I get it. Wow, that's deep. But cancel culture is definitely not sustainable. I kind of knew we was going to swing back this way, because it was getting too sanitized. It was getting ridiculous. And it always does this, like every movement gets co-opted at some point, right? Because and we go through this period of where you get that middle ground where you're like, okay, this is good, this is useful. Like people are taking notice that to consent and things like that, or people are being more mindful that gay people exist and they deserve to get married too, and trans people exist and they just want to be left alone. All of these movements go through a period of making sound sense, but then something happens, because it's that thing about power, right? People, when they get a little taste of power, they want more of it. And that's what happens. And then the pendulum just starts to swing to ridiculousness. Now we have 100 million pronouns that we didn't have
That's what
before
happened.
last year.
That's what I think is happening to the red pill community too. So you
Yeah,
see a lot of these guys jumping ship and things like that nature, because these incels are getting out of fucking hand.
yeah, it's out of control. It's too much of even too much sugar spoils the cake, right?
Yeah.
But Lily, going back to what you said, it reminds me of my attorney, who's a great attorney. Shout out Xavier Donaldson. Hey, Bo.
We love you.
When he was defending me in court, someone was trying to put an order of protection on me. And my attorney argued. He was like, this man, it was a man. Yeah. This man is going to use this not as a shield, but a sword, right? Because he was a dick. And he was the type of person, like, he didn't want protection from me. He just wanted to put that on me, put that on my record, right? Which goes back to people just want power, right? He knew damn well if I was going to take him out, I would have did it many, many moons ago when I had him at gunpoint. I did not, okay? But my attorney, the way he worded that, I was sitting in the court like, go ahead, X. I'm buying you lunch after this. Like the way he argued that, he was like, he wants to use it as a sword, not as a shield. And the point of an order of protection is a shield, not a sword, Your Honor. And I was like,
I love it.
So, similarly, this is how these movements are being used now. Right? Like, oh, my pronouns, or oh, you touching my titty. And it's like, we're watching you. Right? And it's like, is the monster on the wing? Does anybody see this? Does anybody see this? The plane is fucking coming down. It's just not sustainable. We're not going to have anybody left. And I think that's why I'm shocked that Marvel isn't like cut off their heads. However, Tenoch has already lost work. He had to back out of a film on Netflix. Jonathan Majors, his ads were pulled. I thought the Army ad was beautiful. I loved it. They pulled that shit. So they have been hit already. So it's interesting that, where there's money, there's power. The big wigs, which is Marvel, is like, let's just wait and see.
That's why I said that's interesting, because as long as you have that, you can get back in the game. The moment that you saw with Johnny Depp, the moment the tides turn, They'll be calling the very next morning. The agent will be reaching out the very next morning with a plethora of offers, and probably even more than he had the day before. Before all of
And
this happened.
Johnny lost money too during that
Yes.
whole thing. He lost money too, but he's fucking, he's Johnny Depp,
Okay,
right?
but do you all at least, how do y'all feel about the whole, okay, sit down until we figure this out? You may have to lose some money, but just sit down until we figure this out type of thing, because of public perception or whatever. Like, people may not want to see you right now because they're they think that you did whatever this thing is, depending on what that thing is and where public consciousness is at that time. Because for instance, public consciousness towards certain things before the Me Too movement was completely different. The things that people were getting away with in public and the things that we just allowed were completely different. So public consciousness changed, and after Me Too, it was just like you could look at a woman for more than a millisecond, right, before you were Me Too'd. So, do you agree with the sit down just to kind of let things cool off? Yeah, you might lose some money, but we're not canceling you. We're just trying to let people calm the hell down.
I like the sit
Yes.
down. I don't like the complete obliteration of someone's career. I
No.
mean, unless it's a violent crime towards a child. I like to sit down, just let everybody calm the fuck down, cooler heads prevail. But let me tell you what else is happening. And I'm sure the studio heads are watching this as well. A couple years ago, when someone did a wrongdoing, whether it was an accusation of domestic violence or sexual assault or whatever, the pendulum was only swinging one way. They were getting berated online, torn limb from limb. Now, fast forward, the fans, as with Johnny Depp, are fighting back. So now you have wait a minute, he Me Too'd me. And then you have women outside the court waiting for Johnny Depp, yelling, shaking their Johnny's innocent. We love him. The studio heads are watching that and they thinking, hold up, there's still money here. If the fans aren't canceling him, why the fuck are we going to lose $50 million? Pirates of the Caribbean Part 10. And we're seeing that with a lot of these people. I think Tenoch would literally have, even though that woman, even though he's Latino and she's Latina, I can guarantee there's going to be a bunch of Latin fans that are like, fuck that bitch. We want no
Right.
more. We want no more. And the studios are looking at that. And I think that's why they haven't pulled the plug immediately on either character. Same thing with Jonathan Majors. Our current environment hates women. Our current environment hates white people. So he also has that in his favor. Now he's running around with the pretty black girl, Megan Good, which is great for his image, right? Now, of course, you're going to have a bunch of black women saying, fuck him. That ain't our problem, because we see that too. He likes
Yes,
white
we do.
women. Let those white women save him. However, you got the other side of black men who have issues with black women, and they just see it as a reason to fight black women. And they say, fuck that. Let him play the role. So with that, there's no choice but to have to sit down, Lily, because it's a mess. So it's like,
Right.
let everything settle and let's put these men back in there and let's make some fucking money. That's how I would be in the boardroom.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, that makes sense to me.
well, I tell you all the time, Jen, we live in the losers era. The losers have power now, and the losers, they if they get an opportunity to stick a fork into the winners and stick a knife into, the pretty people, they're gonna take every single fucking opportunity, whether it's displaying their trauma on women, displaying their trauma on white people, displaying their trauma on whomever. You know what I mean? They're gonna take full opportunity to that. One of the things I looked at the climate now, though, and I thought to myself, like, wow, a lot of the people and a lot of the goddamn movie stars we came up with as kids will never have survived this shit. Like, can you
Right.
imagine Frank Sinatra in this shit?
Marlon Brando. I mean, the list goes on and on. They're like, our icons are trash
Frank would
in
have been
real
out of
life.
here. You know what I mean? Like, he would have been.
I asked someone the other day, what if you heard of any pop star? Pick Usher, pick anybody. And they were, or Maxwell, or whoever singer, whatever singer you like. And they were rotating 7-year-old white boys in and out of their bed and out of their home. And he was black. would that fly today? This man would just be flying in little 7, 8-year-old white boys and rotating him in his bed because he thinks giving a little white boy his bed is the most loving thing that you can do.
That wouldn't fly.
That shit would not. It would be. There would be a fucking uproar. It would be
Public
insane.
consciousness. Yeah.
It would be.
It wouldn't fly. The fact that the motherfucker had a giraffe in his backyard, it wouldn't float. Somebody be like, "This is animal cruelty." He has a chimp on his arm that is not being taken care of. You know what I mean? Look, it's cold. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, things have changed. I was, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe 11 when I was watching what I think now is. I think I know the title of the movie because I just heard her talking about it. Brooke Shields was in Pretty Baby, and I remember. Now I was younger. I was only a couple of years younger than Brooke Shields, but I remember them, like, her walking kind of naked with her butt showing in the film, and it was like, and even in Blue Lagoon, it was an 18-year-old guy with a 14-year-old girl. None of that stuff would fly to. I mean, you can get arrested for looking at stuff, you know. And they were movie producers were sexualizing her at 10 or 11 years old, which is just disgusting. The Calvin Klein's commercial, nothing gets in between me and my Calvin Klein. She was 14. Disgusting, right?
Yeah.
But back then, nobody thought about it.
Woody Allen would be in cuffs today. Woody Allen would be in cuffs.
He'd have been out of here. Orlando, I thought that Jonathan was amazing in Ant-Man. Here's the reason why I thought Jonathan was amazing in Ant-Man. First of all, I was thinking about, I didn't know he was this good, man. I really didn't know he was this fucking good. So I saw the way he acted in what is it called? The Harder They Fall. So I saw the way he acted in that. He had a particular accent, great portrayal. Then I saw him portray in the last Who Remains in Loki season 1, different mannerisms, different accent, amazing. Then I saw him in Ant-Man, different accent, amazing. Then he's in Creed, he has a California accent, he's huge. And then at the end of Ant-Man, he's playing at least 8 different variations of Kang, different voices, different mannerisms, different looks, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy.
Oh, see, that's the shit that makes me wet, Haran. Now I gotta watch it because I love when actors do that. I love when actors do that
because because I know as a comic book fan who he was portraying, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's how he would sound, and I'm like, I did not even realize that. No, this guy's scary good.
So I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it then, because
why they're probably not getting rid of him because he's good.
So then I gotta watch that. Did anybody see Damson Idris in Snowfall when he took the psychedelic drugs, and he was at that wedding?
Oh yes. Him. No, look, listen. I will say this though, and I stand by it. If they if they replace Majors, the only person I have confidence who will pull this off is Damson Idris.
Okay.
As Kang?
I think you could pull it off.
I always thought he'd be a good T'Challa.
To 20 to 30 pounds. If he puts on a good 20 to 30 pounds, I can.
No.
Yeah, because Majors put it on. But you know what?
Majors put on like 20 to 30 pounds. He put on
right.
Yeah, but Damson to me is regal. I picture him as more as T'Challa.
You want to be a good guy.
No, I don't know. I like when he's bad because he was great when he went bad in Snowfall. Like he really went dark in Snowfall. But he's regal. Like something about him to me is T'Challa, not like a villain.
Well, you know what they could do, and he kind of looked like the kid. When you saw the end of Black Panther 2, that kid kind of looked like fucking Damson Idris. So he could be an older version of T'Challa's son.
He did. That's so true. I want to go back to this. Orlando said at the end of the movie, he played like 1 million characters. So I can see the method thing. How do we feel about it's method acting. We heard Tom Cruise go the fuck off on set. Okay, somebody was recording. He was like, "Fuck you, you're a dick, you're an asshole. Get the fuck." When I say
Christian Bale too. Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, right? How do we feel about that? I know I get very just when that's why I told Lily, just fucking insist whatever the idea is. I get very, very antsy. And honestly, that's why I used to like working with Ish a lot, because he'd be my buffer between he'd be the buffer between me and what I was yelling about and going crazy about, right? He's like, that's just her process. That's what she does.
Right.
Because it's very easy for, that's why I love my New York people, because it's very easy for people to get offended. Right?
Right.
And the last thing on my fucking mind is trying to fucking offend you. I'm trying to get the shot. So why the fuck are you standing there after I told you go over there, because we have to cheat the shot because the camera is behind me? You know, so it's like, that's my thing, but it's because I'm a fucking mad scientist on set. It has nothing to do with you personally or me trying to insult you or offend you. Just the last, like afterwards, I thank you. Let's go do lunch. Let's go do dinner. You're a fucking god. You know, that's me. So I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but I understand James Gandolfini. I understand Tom Cruise yelling. When I heard that, people were appalled. I'm like, that's a fucking day on set. That's a day on set when you've been on there 12 fucking hours and all you want is the sound guy to fucking not have the boom in the frame. Like that's a regular day on set after 12 fucking hours. So I was, even with the Christian Bale, like people were like, oh my God, look how he treats us. But I'm like, you guys don't fucking get it.
They don't get it.
You don't fucking get it.
Well, the moment I saw that he played a million different characters, the first thing I thought was like, oh, he's got to be cuckoo. He's got to be. He's got to be. That's the only way you're going to get the results that you all love for the film. That's the only way. Like we all know this. The great actors behind it, and I love the way you described that, because when we were talking in the chat, I told you my girlfriend is the same exact way as you, and I pay her. She will tell you, Lily pays me no fucking attention. I don't, because I get it. She's a method actor. She's an actor's actor. She's a Broadway actor. She's dramatic. She's da-da-da. I get it, right? And so, but a lot of people don't get that if they're not in the industry.
Yeah, no, it's like
process.
And they have to understand that we have a fucking picture in our head. It's like, we need to get the picture from here over there.
Right.
Like, are you in the fucking way or are you helping me? I don't even like hearing we can't do that. That shit, it grinds my gears. So I tell everybody I work with, do not fucking tell me we can't do that. Tell me what we have to work around is. I literally train people to say that to me. So, you know, someone outside hearing that would be like, she's a bitch. Look how she talks to her staff, or look how she talks. I literally train them. I tell them, do not come to me and tell me we can't do something. Come to me and say this to me. Jen, I know you want that shot, but what we have to work around is X, Y, and Z, because then I hear it as a solution, and there's going to be a way. And I feel like when you tell me we can't do something, you're fucking pausing my process. And I got to do this, right? So when you tell me we can't do that, it drives me in fucking sane, because now you're bringing me a fucking problem. And I remember, Lily, you said you'll never bring anything to me that without a solution. That's fucking genius. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you work with people and they always find the fucking problem to every solution. And that's why, even though I've loved working with some people, I had to let them go artistically, because everything was what we can't do and what we can't do. Meanwhile, 16-year-olds are fucking taking films, you know, to film festivals that they made on their phone. So don't fucking come tell me that we can't do a 2-camera shot. Like, do not do it. It makes me not want to work with you. But we all have our process. We all have our process. So when I hear like, oh, Jonathan Majors is blah, blah, I'm like, yeah, everybody has. This art shit is not fucking easy. Like, it fucks with, and as an actor, and I'll pass the mic after this really quickly. As an actor, you sometimes you do have out of body experiences. Like, it was fucking weird to me when one of my friends, somebody close to me, was like, "Do you mean that, or are you acting?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is that supposed to mean?" He was like, "You said that same shit in a movie," and I was like, "I said what did I say in the movie?" He was like, "What you just said to me, you said in the movie. So is it real or is it Memorex?" And I was like, holy fuck. Well, let me
Yeah.
pause for a minute. Which one is me?
Right.
It fucks with you. And I'm like a little B, C, D
But it's
actress.
true. It's very true.
So imagine somebody like a Tom Cruise, like a Jonathan Majors. Like imagine how deep they go. I mean, Denzel Washington said his wife had to pump his brakes because he was Alonzo at home from Training Day. And she was like, hold up. Watch how you talking to me. But he said he was in his Alonzo brain. So I don't, when I hear people, oh, I met such and such and they had an attitude. Like,
Oh, yes.
I don't listen to that method acting shit. Like when people get upset with that, that's to me that's just process.
Yes.
That's just process. Okay, look, artists change the world and normal people live in it. Period. That's just what it is. Like me in the studio, if you think I'm hardcore now, it's actually a very light and very upbeat version of myself. In the studio on stage, I don't want to hear shit. You know what I mean? I have made people, redo a take 15 times, 20 times. We will go back to the studio and redo the smallest thing until we get it right. How much money it costs. You know what I mean? If you
we're
miss
crazy. We're crazy people.
if you miss a beat on stage, I'm docking your pay. I tell people that. You miss a beat and I'm docking your pay.
It's interesting because, my dad was a music teacher. He was a music instructor. He played instruments and everything. And he used to always say, like, if you mess up, don't make faces, because most of the people in the audience don't know you messed up. But what's really funny is I was at the Elton John concert. He was playing and he stopped because he knew he messed up. Nobody else knew he messed up. Let's start it again. I'm like, what happened? And it's interesting, but like the greatest people, the greatest at their art are that way because it means something to them. They don't care if the audience doesn't see it. It means something to them. So method acting is interesting. I was background with I forgot his name. He was playing Elvis, and he was a method actor because he was before the scene was ever started. He was like doing a little thing with his he has a gun. He was doing all these different things, and there were some people talking, and he went off. He went off like, we're trying to fucking work here, and then you think about the actor that played Elvis. I hear he was walking around forever still sounding like Elvis. Like he couldn't not sound like Elvis. So I mean they really do.
These are the people we love. These are the people that we watch, that we admire, that we want to be like. So I get it. I don't. Oh, now they're starting over here. I totally get it. So I don't, and now I gotta see it. Because I loved him in Creed. I loved how dark he was in Creed, and he has a way with just looking right at the other actor, like when he was at the diner with Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan was like, "Oh, here's some money." And the way he pushed the money back, like I was like, oh my God, he is in that. He is that guy. He's that guy.
He was very light and nerdy in the season of Loki. He was very light and nerdy and whimsical and so on and so forth. So look, listen, folks. In order to, I'm just saying what it is. Let's just use Jim Carrey as an example. Nobody's that good without having some degree of multiple personality disorder. No one is that good without having a touch of fucking crazy attached to them.
Yeah. Like artists
I tell the people about me. I'm like, listen, I got many things going on. So that's like how you get this art.
Like Jack Nicholson can turn that shit on and off at the drop of a hat.
I was watching a little behind the scenes with Michael Jackson, and somebody was interviewing him, and he was watching a video of himself perform, and he was like, "Oh my God, that wasn't good. That was terrible." And the guy was like, "What do you mean it was terrible? Like it's fucking Michael Jackson." He was like, "No, you see right there, I was supposed to do 4 spins, and I only did 3. Did you see that?" And then the guy was like,
but we relate. We relate. We relate to that. Because
Right.
we listen to the playback of the show. We
Yes.
watch the things that Haran, you like just mentioned that you do that in the studio. Like I'm like that with mine. I can find something wrong with every single thing I put out. Every fucking thing I put
Yeah,
out,
of
I can
course.
find something wrong. But listen,
Like,
That's
this
why.
the funny. But do y'all go through the part where the part where you love it? You're like, oh my god, this is brilliant. This is genius. And the next one, you're like, this is the worst thing I've ever done in life.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Jen, here's the thing, and here's the funny thing about it. You push me to constantly keep, to start really pushing music content out there like that on the channel and so on and so forth. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, but I don't got this, I don't have that. I need to make it look like this. I usually have that. I usually do this, blah blah blah, so on. And I'm thinking from a space of I know what I do and I know what I was and
Hmm.
so on. But you're just like just throw it out there, and it's hard to let go of that idea.
But you must.
You have to.
You
Let
must,
go of
because you'll be stuck in a little room by yourself
yeah,
waiting
yeah,
to be perfect.
and
And also we
that's
have
the
to
thing.
be yeah, and also we have to be smart and realize we're in Rome now. We don't wear Timberlands here. We got to put on the little goddess shit and the little gold leaves and the little we're in Rome now. We have to do as the Romans do. These people don't want perfection. They want content. And they want it fast. So I was this for behind the scenes. I'll talk to y'all later. But I understand, Haran. It is painful. Like if people think it's a joke, it is painful for me
Literally.
to create something and know that I put too much into it because nobody gives a fuck that I gave a fuck about lighting and sound and angles and how the person walked in. It's painful
It
because
is.
it's what I love and what I enjoy doing. It's painful for me to have to dumb it down and see a mistake and be like, let me leave that mistake in there because they like that shit. They like it to look janky. Right?
Mhm.
The most viewed videos on TikTok are the ones with people who have fucked up bedrooms. The curtain is hanging down off the rack. Those are the most viewed on TikTok. They don't want the perfect background and the perfectly coiffed hair. And, they don't want that. So it's stupid for us as artists to keep giving that. They don't want that. They don't want, it's like you're giving someone something they don't want to eat. So
Jen,
they're going to go somewhere else and eat where they're being fed what they want. But it is painful. It
it's
is
so
painful.
painful.
It's still painful.
It's still
It's
painful.
still painful. So
It
I
is.
get it, Haram, but don't get to the point where it's like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. Meanwhile, the dude that could barely fucking play got 50 bitches in his DMs because he's there with his broken guitar string. Shit is hanging. The fucking thing has a hole in it. And he on there and girls are like, yes, yeah, my guitar is broken too. Because that's exactly what's going to happen.
Hmm.
This is going to happen.
You're right. It's like, and
Thank
all
you,
of
the
us,
queen. Thank you. You matter too, mama.
all of us real artists have been going through that lately of having to dumb our stuff down. And painful is the word you use, but I don't even think there's even a word for what we feel as real artists. Um, with to have to put out mediocre work, because of the way we were groomed and trained in this industry and the perfection thing or whatever. And it's our baby for real, for real.
Hmm.
But it's a different day and age. And I always talk about not swimming against the current in life, because you're just wasting energy, you're wasting time,
Yes,
you're
time.
wasting money, time, you know? So you just kind of got to figure out how to go with the current and still not lose yourself. And that's the real skill right there.
There you go. And I think you know what helps, Lily? Um, Putting out the garbage, because that is what they want. We're in Rome, but keeping your circle of real artists.
Yes.
That's what fulfills me. Like,
Yes.
the real artists, like long as I have those people in my circle, we're kind of like a support group for it, because it's like we really have talent. I could really fucking write my ass off, but the corny shit is getting played. You know what I mean? So just having real artists in your life, if you are a real artist. Spro, I have to disagree. I have to disagree. Spro says a real artist is satisfied with their work regardless of the kids accept it or not. I disagree because I think that all artists are a gift to the planet. Like we're literally a gift to the planet. We are here to create emotion and create solace for people and create, you know, environments and you know what I mean? So we care that people care about our art. We're not doing it for us. It's like 50 Cent said, when people fail, they're like, oh, I did this for me. It was a personal thing. And 50 said, why don't you play it for yourself then? Why'd you try to sell
Right.
it? If it's for you, right? So we want people to comedians, they get fuel from other people laughing at what they wrote, right? Actors get fuel from people saying, oh my God, I saw that role and it just got me through something because I went through the same thing. Writers are like, oh my God, what you wrote, like, you know, I felt that. I felt, you know, the way you described it, you know. So you, or the musicians or singers, right? They really are a gift to the planet. Now I got muddy because art was monetized and it ruined a lot of art when you monetized art. We really are a gift to the planet. That's how I see it. But you monetized it, right? But yeah, no, we care that people accept it. I can't make art for me and it don't matter whether the kids like it or not. I want the kids to like it. I want people to be inspired.
But the only people who understand artists are artists. Like that, like the only people who can really truly understand artists is artists. No one can really understand our brains and our quirks and our cuckoo-ness because we're all fucking crazy in our own way. So we just get it. We freaking get it. Like and that's the beauty of us. I love being around artists. It's like one of
Yeah.
my favorite things.
It's like, what's up, Mr. Justin? How are you? What
What's
do you have
going
to
on?
add? You up here on the tail end?
Well, I'm sitting here actually painting as we speak. I'm working on a book
Oh
cover.
wow.
And
Nice.
yeah, I've been an illustrator for 20 plus years doing book covers. So you know, like you mentioned something. Actually, I think Lily, you were talking about it where you're doing one thing and you think it's great, and then like the next week you could be doing something and you're like, oh man, that looks like shit, right? And there's this thing that occurs with artists, and like I went through this when I was teaching illustration, and it's this shape that like goes up plateaus, it goes up and plateaus, and basically your skill rises, and then you feel like you're the shit, right? And you're like, man, I can do this. This is awesome. This is great. But then what also happens is while you're going through this, your perception grows, and perception grows a little bit slower than skill, right? So your perception grows, and then you start to see all the details where you fucked up, and you're like, damn, there's so much work I got to do. And then you kind of go through a plateau where you're like, you're grinding, you're like, this sucks, like I hate my work or whatever. And then you get to another level where the skill builds and the perception and the skill are on the same wavelength. And you're like, yeah, I'm this shit. And then the perception grows out of it again. And then it just goes on forever. That's just the way it is.
Yes, it does.
That's the life of an artist. And it just gets, and people look at it, go, what are you talking about? This is amazing. Or like, this sounds amazing or whatever. And your ability to see the details just gets finer and finer and finer. It just keeps going. Like you just have 10x, then you got 20x, then 50x, then 100x, and you're looking at like minutia. You know, like I blinked wrong.
Oh yeah.
What I
Right?
will notice is that, to your point, and this is no cap, and I'm pretty sure you guys feel this way. After I do my work, you know, I see everything that's wrong with it. I see everything that needs to be fixed and so on and so forth. Sometimes I just got to just put it out, or else I'll just be working on it forever. However, there has been times when, one time I'll tell you a time where I was somewhere in the house and I'm hearing, you know, I'm hearing like guitar music play on my playlist. I'm like, who the fuck is that? That sounds incredible. And then I go upstairs and then I look at it. I'm like, oh shit, this is me. Like, when did I do this? And the whole point of it is that I clearly was so far divorced on this. You know what I mean? At whatever time I did this, I was listening with completely different ears. And I was able to hear all the good things that were happening. And I'm sure while I was doing that, I saw all the parts that, oh, this is fucked up, that's fucked up, blah, blah, blah. And that's how it just ends up randomly on my playlist.
And you can't be as an artist, and this is for all artists, no matter what genre, you can't be an asshole or selfish with your art. It's not for you. The reason why you're an artist, right, is to give it as a gift to masses. And with that comes critique, right? So either you got the balls to be an artist or not, because if you're going to put something out there, yes, people are going to hate it vehemently. And then other people are going to love it. That is the point of art. But again, if you're scared, get a dog. You know what I'm saying? Or don't put it out. Like 50 Cent said, do it for yourself. Have it as a hobby for yourself. Don't call yourself an artist and don't put it out there. Just say, you know, you're a hobbyist. And we've discussed hobbyists before, Haran, you and I. Some people are hobbyists, right? But you have to put it out there. You must. It is like it's not yours. It's not yours to keep. Your art is not yours. It's not yours to begin with. It's for everyone. It makes people feel good. It changes minds. It changes. One time I was with DMX out here in Vegas. I wasn't with him. I was part of the entourage. I was with the entourage. You know, just to be clear.
One of those nights.
Right, one of those nights. And he was one of the most amazing artists I've ever met. Truly the biggest heart of a human being. And this man comes up to him, tatted up, you know what I'm saying, crying in tears, telling DMX that he got him through his brother's death. And DMX was hugging him. And we had a pool party in Vegas, okay? That right there is why you give away your art. Now, I guarantee I could find 500 people that will say that was DMX's worst album. Meanwhile, this man is here crying tears. You got me through. And he didn't look like no punk. This man didn't look like no punk. He was like, you got me through the death of my brother. And that is why we are a gift to the planet. We cannot hold on to that. It's bad. Yep. We have to give it away. We must.
And to what Spro had said about regardless of what the kids accept or not, no real like art, not real artists. I hate when people say real anything, right? But just artists are never satisfied. I think if their artists are satisfied, they get into a rut and they start producing. So what happens is that, let's say there's a professional artist out there, and we see this in every genre, where they start producing something, it gets a lot of attention, and they're like, oh, all right, so the people like this, and they start reproducing the same sort of thing, and it's just a slight variation of the same thing over and over and over. They just start producing skeletons, and that's when they become satisfied. They're like, okay, this is good enough. Everyone's happy. I'm getting paid, whatever. Right. But so in that sense, I would say a real artist is one who is not satisfied, who's always pushing to get better and better and better. Because, yeah, they should be happy with their work to a certain degree, but there's always going to be a percentage where they're like, nope, I could have done better. There's more I can learn. I can push more, you know. And so I think for that, I think it's important for artists to have two veins. And so I'm a commercial artist, right? So I have to make sure that I take time to do paintings for myself, where I can say, I can create whatever the fuck I want, regardless of who sees it or not. It doesn't matter. It's just me expressing my ideas. I have to do that. And it's just to have complete 100% freedom, because once you know that there's a perception of you, someone watching, even just one person, it alters things. Even if you're saying like, no, I don't change, there's little bit, because you know they're there. They're there. And so I think it's really important to if you're an artist of some kind, you have a little bit of time for your personal shit and then a time for professional shit. And sometimes they may weave back and forth, but I think it's just good to take time to just make shit that no one will ever see, and you just go nuts. Because I tell you, I've seen some of when I was in Italy, I saw some of Michelangelo's sketchbooks, and they're way better than his paintings, way better, because they're full of expression. The paintings that he made were commissions, where they had to look a certain way and feel a certain way and depict all these different things. And, you know, popes had to be fucking pleased and all this shit. You know what I mean? And so but his sketchbooks, no one saw them until they were discovered after he died. You know what I'm saying?
So Justin,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Jen.
I was going to say that also is a layer of art being monetized. Hollywood is very limited, right? Even with me pitching a project, we literally have to put at the bottom of the pitch deck, what is this like? I cannot pitch a show, an original idea, without putting on the bottom at least 2, not even 1, at least 2 shows that my show is similar to, or they don't want to hear it. The original idea.
Because
it's
they
like,
can't. Well, who are you pitching it to? Like,
anybody.
like
This is
finance
anyone.
executives, like people
This
who
is
don't
anyone.
have visuals.
It
so they
doesn't-
have to-
This is anyone. This is anyone.
anybody, producers,
They're all like that.
all of them, directors. It's like, what is this like? What show is this like? They don't care about original ideas. I can have an idea that it's different from anything that was yeah, but what show is out that it's like?
and you're
like
like,
you
this is
literally
like Kill Bill meets Family Guy.
Yeah, no,
yeah, you got to
seriously.
do that. Yeah, you got to
You
do
have
that.
to do that.
You have
Yeah.
to do it. They have. It's like, yep.
That's
To
Well,
Justin's point though earlier, that's actually what's kept me sane. Besides hanging out with other artists, I've had to create things for me just because I'm a real artist. I have to create, you all. Like that's breathing for me, right? So I'll do things just to get it out, just to get that vision out, and I don't even release it, but I got it out and it feels great. I might show it to a friend or two, may not, but I just got it out of me and it feels great. So I definitely get that.
I constantly have to create and develop and tweak. This is why I'm always on your ass, guys. Not like no Saint Laurent. I'm always like, put the hat like that. Where's the lint brush? Because I have, everything is like, I have to make things better. Like I'm
Did you put that
addicted
backdrop
to.
behint No Saint? Is that you?
No, I have to constantly. I did some other stuff. Mind your business, Justin. So
Put on a shirt with buttons.
You know what I'm saying? I have to constantly. You know what I mean? It's like that's how it's just so fulfilling for me. Like to leave things better than I encounter them. And then at the end, when I'm in my deathbed, I was like, shit. It's like Felice Johnson had 157 booties he snatched. I'm gonna be like, I improved 157 lives, right? We all have our thing. We all have our thing. But artists are very, very interesting people. Very interesting people. Lots of respect.
To your point, Jen, like if you notice, I don't really, when you do make suggestions towards me, whatever, I don't become defensive.
At all. Like you're like let me tell you, yeah, Haran is a killer, but listen, I'm shocked because I was like, I'm gonna tell him X, Y, and Z, and he's gonna have an attitude because that's what I'm used to. Like men get offended, right? And I'm like, this is for you, asshole. This is not for me. If I disappeared tomorrow, this is gonna make you better. Think, right? But people get offended. Haran be like, okay, okay. And he'll fight me on some shit too. Like,
oh yeah, certain things, but overall, because me personally, I'm about great art. You know what I mean? And I tell people, because if people ask me, what do I think? Especially when they bring their music to me, I tell them like, you sure you want me to tell you what I think if I hear this? Because I'm gonna tell you what I think. You know what I mean? I've had people tell me like, oh, you're so negative and so on and so forth. No, I'm just telling you what I think because I want you to be better. If I tell you that the snare sounds like shit, I'm really telling you that maybe you need to go get a better fucking snare. Like, look, listen, I also live a life as a studio musician. And I'm told, and this is when I have to go into my commercial space, where somebody's like, okay, I need you to sound like Prince. I need you to sound like Jimi Hendrix. I need you to sound like this. And I go in there and I bring their tones and I bring their style of music. I play it. Ask the producer, the person who's directing it, is that fine? You want me to do more? Do you need this? Blah, blah, blah. Because it's not my production. Now, if it's my production, then I'm like, I need X, Y, Z, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Even then, I'm open to collaboration. It's about great art. And a lot of times people out there allow their ego to get involved, you know what I mean, before we actually get to the great art part.
Speaking of backgrounds, Mr. Justin looks like when a serial killer takes you out in the woods, is the last thing you see.
Mr. Justin always has some really like very, very like dexterous backgrounds. Like,
it's like that's the last thing you see, right? The serial killer takes you out in the woods. Oh my goodness. So last question on the topic, Jonathan Majors and Tenoch Huerta versus women versus Marvel. I did put on the flyer, are they villains or victims of women scorned Do you think that these two women are like, hold up, you're not gonna blow up without me? And I spoke yesterday about how vindictive women can be, how vengeful women can be. I've been one of them. Once you're in my sights, you know what I mean? You may not know. Revenge is a dish best served cold. I'm like, especially if I helped you out with some shit. But do you think there's an element of that with these women? Do you think these women are being vengeful or spiteful? And it's like, oh, you're going to blow up without me? I think not. Let's put this case on you. And again, disclaimer, I am not saying that whatever these women said happened to them didn't happen. I was not there. I do not know. I'm just asking for speculation. This is speculation. Both men are denying it went down the way it went down. Tenoch Huerta it is interesting. He was in a relationship with that woman. That's some new info. I thought this was just some random woman that he worked with, but they were in a relationship, and he has witnesses that they were in a relationship. So this is interesting. So what do you think about that aspect of it? Do you think that these women are being vindictive?
They could be, but what the funny part is that this what you were just describing about the vengeance and things like that, the way women operate on that level, it's nothing you can actually bring to court a lot of times, because it's stuff that will fuck with you emotionally, psychologically, socially, right? And it can be, it's not like a swift punch in the face, right? It's nothing like that. It's nothing so overt. It's very covert, and it has a deep effect. So it's hard to say, right? Because the way things are, a woman can just say, "Oh, this happened to me," and the majority of people will say, "Well, believe her." But if you look at say just the law and how it goes, we'll say, well, if you're making a claim, we need evidence to support the claim. Where is your evidence? And but when in these situations they say, well, no, just listen to what she says, because the chance, but it's kind of hairy because she can't provide evidence if it actually happened, or very little evidence, you know what I'm saying, if there is any. So it's like, it's a very messed up thing, but because that's there, it also creates an opportunity, right? So it's a double-edged sword, and that's the problem I have with it.
What do you think, Lily?
I would say, okay, first of all, I feel like we're moving into a new space where we can at least explore all of the options. Because during the Me Too movement, we weren't even allowed to question anything, right? When it came to the woman's side. And I feel like that was an unhealthy extreme as well. I think we should be able to just like look at all of the possibilities and say, listen, any of these are possible. We're not making assumptions, but judging off of what we have today as of right now, like all of these things are possible. So what I would say based off of the information that we have right now, victim or villain, both are plausible. With Jonathan Majors, it's gotten so convoluted. It's a toss up. It's a toss up with me right now. When it comes to the other gentleman with the new information that was presented today, I feel like it's plausible that the woman is being vindictive. But who am I to say? I don't know. I'm just going by what I'm seeing from right now. But at least we're able to have different conversations and more entailed conversations as opposed to like 4 years ago.
I'll repeat it for the third time. I don't know these men. I don't know these women. I don't know what the fuck happened. However, I know women enough to know that sometimes it's not really about them putting you through shit. It's just about them putting you through the process. There lies and when I say that, it's like there's time. I think Jen, you and I got into this conversation. There's gonna come a day when, we gonna hit pay dirt. The press release is gonna be like, yeah, they all got such and such millions of dollars, and I'm gonna get a phone call from my baby mama. And it's gonna be a conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, yeah, I got your kid. You ain't blowing up without me. and that's how it really is. With a lot of times with certain women, like, yeah, homie, Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you got a good lick. Yeah, not without me though. Look, listen. I'll tell y'all this right now. I had an ex. Okay? I had a moment in my life years ago. I had a moment in my life where, I was down bad or whatever. You know what I mean? I had to get myself together. She was there, I got back on point or whatever. And she was there through the, through the struggles and that things of that nature. But I was difficult. I I didn't want her around me. But anyway, the point is this. I got back, on my feet, got back on my skis. She said, yeah, this is great. This is wonderful. But you ain't doing this shit without me, though. I put X amount of years into watching you struggle. You not going out here and get another broad who wasn't around when, you was struggling without me. And women really do be on it like that, man.
She breathed
No,
life
yes.
into you.
Yes. Yeah, yes. No, Saint. Yes. If my air filled your fucking lungs, you better open up that fucking wallet, asshole.
But you know what? To be honest with you, I think it's like right. I love how Simon Cowell leaves parting gifts to his exes. I think it's awesome. But and with Simon Cowell, it's not like they built him. He just does it, right?
Right.
But I feel like if someone helps you get somewhere, just off GP, human to human, like throw them a little something, keep it moving, right?
Yep, like
I don't know.
Bezos.
Right.
Easy.
Mhm.
And you look at Diddy, the reason why he doesn't have issues with his baby mamas, those women are well taken care of, with the exception of the little one. But remember, the little one, he didn't pay for that house that she owed money on. And what happened? She started, I know all the secrets. The rest of them bitches on Instagram with showing their red bottoms and their Gucci bags. And them bitches don't have jobs. They don't have jobs. So obviously he's taking good care of them, but that little one has always been a problem.
So, ladies, can I ask you a question? Keep it 100.
No.
Is this one of the reasons why a number of you? Well, I guess you did just answer. Is this one of the reasons why a number of you don't like dealing with men with young children because their baby mamas still have some degree of power over them?
You know what? That's a part of it, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I'm selfish. I'm very selfish. I'm the baby of 4. I'm very selfish. I don't want to be second priority to no bitch. Go away. That's why if I date a man with children, he has to have children up and out of the home.
Right.
Up and out. So she's not calling every other week. We need this. We need that. What's that? And he's running over there because the kid is under 18 years old. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm too selfish. That's why I'm against. That's why I'm against. And women hate when I say this. I'm gonna do a show about it. I fucking hate child support and I fucking hate alimony. If you moved on, bitch, why is this man paying your alimony? That cuts into our vacation money. This is why I don't deal with it at all. This is why I don't deal with it at all. Why is a man paying alimony to a woman he is no longer under the same roof with? For why? For what?
So is it safe to say it's all about girl power until one of the girls step on your toes?
Now,
well, I'm not about girl power. Now I'll defend a woman in a heartbeat. Wait a minute now. I ain't taking off my apron and I'm not putting my shoes on. Leave me barefoot and pregnant. I like it. Okay. I will defend a woman to the end if there is some wrongdoing, but I defend men too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I defend men too. That's just how I am. But I'm not about girl power. Now them bitches is crazy.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Women are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about, so on the question, I'm more thinking that Tenoch is the victim. I would be more inclined to think he might have been a victim just because all the details that have come out now.
Yeah.
It's subject to change. Don't know about Majors. I don't want to say that he's a victim or a villain, but his is a little bit more muddied water. But
Why is his more muddied water before we close? Why is
Well,
his more
with Tenoch, you know, like to Lily's point, I was reading that there was a relationship established.
Yeah.
There are people there, witnesses. You know, I mean, there's just a lot more there that makes me think that it's possible that she could just be coming back for him vindictively. And I just don't know on the Majors one. I
Well, the
don't.
Majors one, it's updates every other hour, and it's like
right?
this. It's like twists and turns, so it's hard to gauge
And they've
what's
been
really going on.
and Majors was with that little white girl for a while. This isn't a new relationship. I just think that with his fame and money, and it happened really quickly. Now he has other women. Maybe he wants to be with other women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, they literally fought. They got into fisticuffs over text messages, which means Majors is that guy now. You're the star in Creed. Your body is amazing. Women are probably like sticking at him. They were probably throwing vaginas at him everywhere he went. He was like pulling them off. Like, all right, enough, no more.
Also, I just want to throw out there that for most white women who date black men, their biggest fear is losing their black man to a black woman. Go ahead, continue.
Oh wow! Well, hold on now. Well, hold on. Is that a topic for another day? Because
Yeah.
don't drop stuff like that
And
at
walk away.
second hour.
So
He did that sexy thing, like when you get in the stroke and then they get up and walk away, and then you watch them walk to the bathroom. You're like,
listen. This has been. I've observed this. This has been said to me, admitted by the many white women. Oh yes, this is. And I'm thinking, if that is the case, it kind of lines up because it's like, let's just say she's with
I never
him.
even thought of that. That's icky as fuck.
Because if let's look at it from her perspective. Let's just say.
I know why. Because she feels already that she was better than the black woman, right? Something like that. So if
there's things tangled in that. There's things tangled in that. It's like one of those things where it's just like, okay, what they think is this. A lot of them think.
Wait a minute, David Dillon is co-signing. He has a white woman. Let me find out, David.
What happens is that a lot of them think that black men roll around in the mud with them. They have their fun and then they go home. They always go home.
Okay.
I think that sentiment happens a lot with interracial dating, because I've heard men say the same thing about white women. They're like, oh, they just want to roll around in the mud with me and then go back to their white male counterparts. So I've heard that like amongst different men and women, different races. Yeah, I think they all say that.
But it's the white women.
That's right, not all, many.
But with white women, it's always the black woman. It's never all to an Asian woman or to something. It's always the fear. In my experience, it's always the fear of losing them to a
interesting.
Now look at it like this, Jen. They're going on their little relationship, their little Ebony and Alvin relationship, and then that weekend when everybody saw his abs and he turned Twitter upside down. She probably went online. Saw those sisters,
and then she saw that big head text from Megan Good.
Listen. I never liked this face, but after Creed, I was like, bring me that bag, honey. Nothing, the bag. So here you go, baby.
She probably saw some of these black women who I'm sure the math says at least a good 30 of them was fine.
Oh, for sure.
Fine and shit. So in her mind, she's like, oh, I'm about to lose my dude. So
and these ain't regular black women. These are, actresses. These are superstars. Halle Berry could have been on the text. Like, that was amazing, Jonathan. So we don't know who was on that text.
So that text, look, a woman is not going to, look, and I know this from experience, a woman is not going to run through your phone unless there's a degree of concern or paranoia, okay? So there was something already in her mind that she was thinking or she saw. I was like, I wonder this motherfucker is going to, and then when that happened,
it's there even if they're not running through your phone. Like some just actually act on it, and then some just don't, but the fear is still there.
Justin, I remember I got caught out one time before with my phone, like a moron. like a fucking moron. And I
When
went in.
you were sleeping and they held your phone up to your face to unlock it.
Yes.
So Justin, you're just, and by the way, that girl is hit. She's unattractive. That little white girl. So
And that's the other
I'm
thing,
sure.
Jen.
I'm sure she is. I was like, she looked like she was shooting with him in the gym. Like I was like, oh, this was the girl before the fame. Got it. Not gonna
Start a
last.
girlfriend.
Start a girlfriend.
She's the
So
star
Justin,
wife.
what you're saying is that women, they just live this life where they're constantly thinking they're going to lose their man. That is how they wake up and they're
I'd
eating
say
lunch.
I'd say there's many that are like that. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So that was event, but see, she wasn't one of them slick white girls. She should have played her position, but she panicked. You panicked, bitch. Like he was on top of the world. She should have played her position and been. She could have been like, baby, I know this is a new phase in your life. You're more famous than ever. You look delicious. You're gorgeous. I get it. I know women are gonna try to get at you. I love you. I will be here for you no matter what. Okay. This is getting scary for me. Do you want to break? Do you want to? I still, you know what I mean? She could have played her position. She panicked. The bitch panicked and blew it up. Now look at you.
Yep.
Now,
You have to be more careful. I'm telling you.
on that note, we out of here. On that note, we out of here. You got to be more careful. No, Saint, do you have anything left in you, or are we out of here?
No. I think we're out of here.
All right, guys, fall back. I know I'm always
Yes.
nagging y'all, but fall back for a second. That means you don't leave, no, Saint.
I know.
Okay. All right.
Only
So
I
fall
can
back.
leave.
Yes, only you can leave, Justin, but you're always welcome here. And thank you so much for your ideas and the scary background.
Yeah, go back in that cave
Very,
back
it's
there.
giving me very ID channel realness.
Right. That's what I just said.
Don't you want to go camping there? It makes me want to go camping.
No,
You know,
it looks like
you
the
know.
last thing you see when the serial killer took you out to the woods.
Man,
Okay.
Yeah,
see?
the black side of me is just not agreeing with it. It's not.
We're not going. We're
Play
not,
some music in the background as I look at that.
Yeah.
Like,
we're not going. Unless you
Well,
have
you're
some
wrong.
water, trickling or some rain, it just looks a little creepy.
No.
Maybe there is.
Or some
Well,
horns.
talk to Apple. That's where I got the image from.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for holding me down. Chat. Thank you for your opinions as well. You guys always have the best commentary. Come back tomorrow. We'll have another juicy one for you. All right.
All right.
Good night. Be good.
Night,
And if you
everyone.
can't be good, be careful.